I've seen quite a few videos on this case, and I don't remember any of them mentioning this. Hola guys, it's Kat. Now, I know a lot of people have talked about the boy in the box, and I know I've seen quite a few videos on this myself. I was rereading about this, and I had read something in there that I honestly don't remember, like, anyone mentioning. I was like, you know what? Let's talk about it. The boy in the box. It's a very old case, 1957, where this 4-year-old, it was either 4 to 6-year-old boy, was found in a box, murdered. The boy's hair was crudely cut and located throughout his body, indicating it was cut while he was deceased and naked or immediately before he died. His hands and feet were wrinkled, indicating that they were submerged in water for an extended time just before or after he died. The child may have had a chronic eye ailment. He had not eaten 2 to 3 hours before death. The faded, cheap flannel blanket he was wrapped in was made in either North Carolina or Quebec, Canada. It was also mass-produced and shipped to multiple locations. His esophagus contained a dark brown residue, possibly indicating he vomited shortly before death. He was severely malnourished. Cause of death was multiple blows to the head, which is just awful. And they had, plastered this boy's face everywhere. Nobody seemed to know who this boy was. Granted, at that time period, it wasn't as easy to get the word spread out there, so it was probably more local. No one in the area seemed to know who this boy was. They didn't have any leads, they didn't have nothing. Nobody knows where he came from or who he belonged to, but there is this poor deceased boy who had just been left in this box, unclaimed, which is just so sad to think about. I'm going to read you guys some of the theories, and we're going to talk about the thing that interests me the most here. Frederick Benosis, who was spying on young wayward girls, was initially thought of as a suspect, but he was questioned and cleared via lie detector test. A foster home located about 1.5 miles from the crime scene was the first location police officers wanted to check. There were 8 foster children residing there at the time. All the children located at the foster home were checked out and the family was ruled out. Speculation still exists that Arthur Nicoletti, who ran this foster home, is somehow involved. He refused to take a lie detector test, and a psychic hired to assist in this investigation led investigators directly to the foster home without ever visiting the area first. That's kind of interesting. This one, okay? The strongest lead occurred in May 2002 when a businesswoman known as M from Cincinnati, Ohio, claimed her mother purchased the boy from his parents in 1954. They named the boy Jonathan. He was regularly abused and housed in the basement. He was described as being handicapped and could not speak. M claimed her mother killed him February 1957 in a fit of rage by throwing him down on the floor after he vomited in the bathtub after eating baked beans. Investigators thought this was the lead they were looking for to finally solve the case. However, after 6 months of attempting to corroborate her story, it was determined that M had a history of mental problems and none of the information she passed could be proven. In this article, that whole M thing is a little bit wrote off, I noticed, because when I read from a different one, so in this article, psychiatrists contacted the authorities with information regarding the case. The psychiatrist claimed that a patient of hers, a woman named Mary, confided that her parents had bought America's Unknown Child and used him as a sex toy. According to Mary, her mother had been bathing the boy when he suddenly threw up. Angered, Mary's mother beat him to death. Mary claimed that she accompanied her mother to Northeast Philadelphia woods where they wrapped the boy in the blanket, placed him in a box, and left him there. The investigators were convinced that Mary was telling the truth even if she was mentally unstable. However, when Mary's name leaked to the press, she left the country and no further efforts had been made to investigate the curious case of America's unknown child. I don't know why the other article didn't mention that, but this article gave more details about that. And like, personally, to me, like, that sounds true. Granted, I couldn't find if they had released the details about the boy back then, or if they just were like, hey, this boy was found in a box dead. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not sure how much information was let out at the time. Granted, by the time she confessed, she probably would have learned more about the case, say she was faking it or whatever. But to me, that kind of seems real, because, you know, say this person is doing this for attention or whatever, then wouldn't you like that your name got out there? Wouldn't you, you know what I mean? Like, why would you take off? Especially if what she's saying is true and she accompanied her mom with this. Maybe she thought that she was going to get in trouble, or people were going to come after her for it or something, you know, like, and that's why she left. So personally, to me, this seems like really plausible. I mean, again, I know she's like mentally unstable and maybe she just made it all up and just took off for a different reason. I know that officially this is unsolved, but I don't know. I feel like it's been unofficially solved, you know what I mean? But like, obviously they won't know because a woman left. You know, maybe they would have been able to get more information out of her. Maybe they would have been able to get this evidence or whatever that they were looking for, you know? Like, because I'm sure she had stuff of her, like, mother's. I'm sure maybe she has some of his clothes. Maybe they could have found his DNA. Maybe they could have, you know what I mean? Like, and granted, that was a long time ago, but like, you never know. But now we'll never know because she took off. Tell me what you guys think about that. And if you have theories about this case, let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear different point of views. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, my little rainbows. Mwah.